Hey everyone, it's Lindsay. Today I'm getting personal with you guys. I'm going to be talking about my experience of becoming a stay-at-home mom. This was a very recent change in my life as of almost, oh my gosh, has it been almost a month ago? But I did want to make a video sharing my experience with you guys because I know it's a really tough decision. I had a really tough time coming to this decision, and I watched a lot of YouTube videos of mothers sharing their experiences about being a stay-at-home mom, and I really wanted to make this video for you guys in case you were interested or you just wanted to hear a different experience. So I want to start off by sharing a little bit about my professional background. Now, I was a project manager and I've been at the company I ended up leaving for about 4 years. I worked full-time up until about a week and a half before my daughter's due date. I gave myself a little bit of a break to relax. I also didn't want my water to break in a corporate office. Fast forward, I had my daughter and the company that I was at gave 3 months maternity leave. And throughout the time frame of when I was pregnant and maternity leave, I was kind of just debating back and forth whether or not I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom or go part-time. I just ended up going back to work full-time after my maternity leave. And the reason why I wanted to go back full-time was because truly I didn't really know what it would be like just working full-time while having a kid. The way that my schedule was set up was that I was going into the office 3 days a week, and then the other 2 I was working from home with my daughter there. At the time it was a little bit easier because really my daughter was just sleeping all the time. So it was definitely easier to kind of just work from home when she was that young. So I was doing that schedule for about a couple months, and what I started to notice was that it was starting to get harder working from home when you have a kid because she was starting to be awake more and she needed me more and for longer. And what I started to realize was that I wanted to spend more time with my daughter. And so I talked about it with my husband about working from 5 days to 4 days because of course it does impact our finances, and my husband was okay with it, and I talked about it with my bosses and they were really understanding, and I was really blessed and fortunate to have very, very understanding bosses. I tried working about 4 days a week for about a few months until I realized that I still wanted to spend more time with my daughter. Again, I talked about it with my husband. We kind of adjusted our budget just to see what it'd be like when I was working a few days a week. And I forgot to mention that the person who was watching my daughter while my husband and I were working is my mom. And my mom offered to watch her a few days a week, and so we found that just super helpful. After my husband and I decided that it'd be okay for me to go part-time, I went into my mid-year review with my bosses with the decision that I am going to go part-time. Of course, super nervous to see how would they react because I've been kind of all over the place with my schedule, and they've been super patient with me. And not only did I come in to that meeting with the decision that I'm going part-time, but I also came with a solution of what I wanted to do with my role, how I wanted to break it up, what we should do with the other workload that I wouldn't really be doing. I felt like that really helped with the meeting, so it's not like everyone's scrambling of what are we gonna do? But overall, the meeting went well. My bosses were super understanding, and it ended up helping the company grow in different ways, so it all worked out. I ended up working part-time for about a couple of years. I was able to balance my workload while also being able to spend time with my daughter. But as my daughter was growing older, my daughter is now 3, I started to realize how much harder it was to balance everything. At some point when she was younger, I felt like it was easier to balance things. She was still at that age where she was taking 2 naps. She was still going to bed earlier. As she started getting older, she's not sleeping as much. She's going to bed a little bit later. I started to notice how much harder it was to balance work, life, and family. And this time it was different because I started to feel like I am getting pulled in every single direction. And I toyed around with the idea of becoming a stay-at-home mom for a while, but I just never really made the plunge to do it. It is a huge sacrifice to do, and I was really afraid of how I was going to handle it. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel mentally and how it was going to impact us financially. But the turning point for me was the end of last year when I got sick, and I was kind of forced to take a few days off and rest. And I just remember this very clear moment with me trying to go and rearrange all the schedules going on with my daughter, with me. And I just remember like having a very clear breaking point of, I can't do this anymore. And this time it felt different because I felt more sure about the decision. And I just remember going to my husband and just being like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And he was like, all right. And my husband and I took a look at our budget and made some adjustments. Fortunately, my husband ended up getting a new job where he got a pay raise, so that really helped and made him feel more confident about me becoming a stay-at-home mom. And I feel like it's one of those things where the timing just works out perfectly. If I ended up being a stay-at-home mom right when I had my daughter, it would have been very, very hard. We would have been able to do it, but it would have been extremely restrictive. The next scary step for me was actually putting in my notice, which I was incredibly terrified to do. Part of me felt really scared to walk away from a really good opportunity. I genuinely loved my bosses and my coworkers, and I really loved what I was doing as a role, but I just felt like I couldn't do it anymore. And I just knew even when she goes to school and we hopefully end up having another kid, I would probably be going through this all over again. So I was like, you know, I think I just need to take a step back and just see how it goes, because I really haven't had that break except for maternity leave, which really was tough. And so this one's different where she's a little bit older. For me, it seemed a little bit easier to take care of her in this season of life. And so when it came to putting in my notice, I really wanted to get the timing right, because I came to the decision that I wanted to take a step back the end of last year, and I knew that January of this year would be an incredibly busy work month, and it did not feel right to put in a notice when everyone's just kind of all over the place with work, including myself. I waited until January was over and I called my boss. I pretty much just told her I wanted to take a step back and focus on my family. And I felt like that call ended up fine. I felt really good getting it off my chest. It's always the anticipation when it comes to really difficult conversations like this one. And I did give a month's notice. I really wanted to make sure that everyone felt okay, that I can wrap up as much as I can. And yeah, that was kind of my whole story of becoming a stay-at-home mom. And overall, mentally, I've been feeling fine, and a little bit like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder. I did want to end this video by saying I don't think that there's a perfect way for every mother when it comes to working or being a stay-at-home mom, because sometimes I do feel like there can be judgment for whatever decision a mother makes from society. You know, some mothers are better being a stay-at-home mom, some mothers are being a working mom, some mothers have to be working, and that's fine. I was there. I have definitely felt that. So the best thing that you can do is what you think is best for your child and your family, and that's the most important thing. I don't think there is a right single way for any mother to do it. And so that is it for this video. I truly hope you guys found it helpful in some way or comforting. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.